The arrival of the general. The stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport of the Dominion flagship, cold and indifferent. Supreme General Xhor'Tal of the Xhor'Tal Dominion stood rigid in his command chamber, for eyes narrowed at the blue and green world below. Earth, another insignificant sphere of primitive life, ripe for subjugation. Or so the council had assured him. Xhor'Tal had conquered dozens of worlds, broken species into servitude, and crushed resistance beneath the weight of the Dominion fleet. His armor bore the scars of countless wars, and the dual hearts in his chest had endured crises that had felled lesser generals. Yet something about this mission unsettled him. He dismissed the feeling, likely the fatigue of old age. "General," hissed his aide, bowing low, "the humans have prepared a diplomatic reception. They request you attend an inspection of their defenses." Xhor'Tal let out a low growl, amused. Defenses? These bipeds wielded chemical explosives and crude plasma prototypes. To stand before a Dominion war host was folly. Still, procedure demanded diplomacy before conquest. "Very well," he said, voice rumbling. "Prepare my escort." The shuttle descended into Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing faintly from re-entry. From above, the planet looked deceptively fragile. Vast oceans, green continents, wisps of white cloud. A world of prey, not predators. Yet the humans greeted the Dominion envoy with remarkable composure. Waiting on the landing pad was a group of uniformed humans, standing tall despite the weight of the occasion. The general's translator implant rendered their language into guttural Xhor'Tal tones. "Welcome, Supreme General Xhor'Tal. We are honored by your presence." Xhor'Tal studied them. Their bodies seemed weak, 2 legs, 2 arms, soft skin with no scales or natural armor. By all logic, they should not have survived long in the galaxy. Yet here they stood, unflinching under his gaze. "You will show me your world's defenses," Xhor'Tal demanded. "Your council wishes for terms. I wish to see what value your species truly holds." The lead human nodded. "Of course, General. Our demonstration will begin shortly. We will start with our companions." The words puzzled Xhor'Tal, but he followed as they guided him into a vast underground facility. The air grew colder, tinged with the scent of iron and musk. The heavy blast doors hissed open, revealing a cavernous enclosure. Xhor'Tal stiffened. Inside, massive creatures prowled, striped predators with fangs long as knives, tawny beasts with golden eyes, hulking shapes covered in dark fur. They moved with power and grace, the kind that only apex hunters carried. His warriors, seasoned killers themselves, involuntarily took a step back. "These are some of our pets," said the human calmly. "We call them lions, tigers, and bears." The general's throat tightened. On his homeworld, predators of this size were slaughtered on sight, their very existence a threat to civilization. Entire villages had been raised by creatures half this formidable. Yet here, humans stood among them with ease. One of the massive striped beasts padded forward, muscles rippling, jaws wide enough to crush a skull. Xhor'Tal's hand twitched toward his sidearm. But before he could react, the predator leaned into the human handler's touch, purring like a docile juvenile. Xhor'Tal felt his second heart skip. "You tame them," he rasped. The human smiled. "Tame isn't quite the right word, General. They choose to live with us. We call it domestication." The general's mind reeled. Domestication? Such creatures were death incarnate, nightmares given flesh. For his people, even attempting to contain one would be suicide. Yet humans not only lived beside them, they turned them into companions. The tour continued, each revelation driving Xhor'Tal's pulse higher. Wolves, their eyes glowing with cunning intelligence, sat obediently at their master's feet. Crocodiles basked lazily under the watch of human caretakers. Even massive shaggy beasts, bears, the humans called them, stood upright, waving on command as though they were harmless entertainers. It defied reason. It defied the laws of survival itself. "These animals are dangerous," Xhor'Tal whispered, unable to stop himself. "Yes," the human agreed easily. "They're dangerous. That's why we respect them. That's why they respect us. Xhor'Tal staggered. His aides glanced nervously at him. He could feel the pounding in his chest. His vision swam for a moment before steadying. Control yourself, old warrior. The final blow came when they led him to a glass enclosure where a massive tiger lounged like royalty. The handler, a slender human barely reaching the general's chest in height, opened the gate and walked in without fear. The tiger rose, stretched, and pressed its head affectionately against the human's chest. Xhor'Tal nearly dropped to his knees. This was no mere pet. This was a predator willingly submitting to a fragile biped. Humanity, he realized, had achieved the impossible. They had earned the loyalty of monsters. The general's heart thundered in his chest, and for the first time in centuries, fear coiled cold and heavy in his veins. The humans closed the demonstration with calm words. "This is only the beginning, General. We have much more to show you." Xhor'Tal forced his body to remain upright, but inside, panic brewed. If this was only the beginning, then what awaited him next? As the blast doors sealed behind him, he clenched a trembling fist and muttered under his breath, "By the stars, what kind of species are these humans? Monsters on leashes." The corridors of the human facility wound deeper underground, the air humming with hidden machinery. General Xhor'Tal's clawed hands flexed at his sides as he followed the human delegation. His armor, forged from star iron, suddenly felt insufficient. The images of great predators submitting to fragile bipeds haunted him. He had faced plasma storms, war beasts bred for slaughter, and the unrelenting void of space itself. Yet nothing had unsettled him like the sight of a tiger purring under a human's touch. Still, he told himself, perhaps that was an anomaly, some rare feat of trickery. Perhaps the humans had only shown him their most exceptional cases. The Dominion could not be shaken by mere beasts. The blast doors ahead slid open. His second heart gave a painful twitch. They entered a vast training ground, illuminated by harsh white lights. Dust rose from the arena floor, and the scent of sweat and musk thickened the air. Rows of humans in military garb stood at attention, their expressions calm, almost smug. In the center, creatures moved with startling coordination. They were smaller than the tigers and lions from earlier, but lean and quick, their eyes gleaming with predatory sharpness. "Wolves," explained the human officer. "Ancient hunters, pack predators. Long before we built cities, we ran beside them." Xhor'Tal squinted. The wolves formed a half-circle around their human handler, their bodies taut, muscles coiled like springs. A single gesture from the handler, and the wolves shifted, flowing into formation as though they were soldiers. Another signal, and they lunged forward, weaving around obstacles, striking dummies with precision before regrouping at the handler's side. Not a single beast disobeyed. Not a single maw turned against the fragile flesh of the human standing unarmed among them. Xhor'Tal's throat rumbled. "Impossible." One of his aides whispered nervously in their native tongue. "General, they fight as units. They obey like warriors." Xhor'Tal could not deny it. In the Dominion, training war beasts was a bloody affair, with handlers maimed as often as beasts obeyed. But here, humans did not dominate through pain or chains. They led with something else, something stronger. The officer gestured, and another gate opened. This time, lean, muscular canines bounded out, tails wagging, eyes shining with devotion. They barked joyfully as they rushed to greet their handlers. "These are dogs," said the officer with pride. "Not just hunters, but guardians, partners, family. They are predators who chose us thousands of years ago and never left." One handler threw a simple stick. The dog sprinted, seized it, and returned, wagging eagerly for approval. Another dog lay still as its handler knelt beside it, whispering softly. The animal's ears twitched in understanding, responding with uncanny intelligence. Xhor'Tal's mandibles clenched. Wolves that obeyed like soldiers, and now predators that chose to live alongside humans? Voluntarily? The very concept gnawed at his reason. The aide leaned closer again. "General, on our world, predators flee us. They attack only when cornered. But here, these monsters love them. Love. The word struck like a plasma round to the chest. The Dominion knew loyalty born of fear, obedience forged in blood. But this was something entirely alien. The demonstration escalated. A human handler raised a whistle. At once, a pack of wolves and dogs moved together, different species united under human command. They encircled a group of armored human soldiers in mock battle, flanking, cutting off escape routes, striking from behind, all without a single word spoken. The arena roared with energy as man and beast became one force. Not separate, not master and servant, but allies. Xhor'Tal gripped the railing until the metal creaked beneath his talons. His twin hearts thundered. If humans could command predators like this, what would happen if they turned them against the Dominion's war beasts? The possibility made his vision swim. Of course, the officer said casually, as though none of this were extraordinary. These are only the small ones. Xhor'Tal's chest tightened. The small ones? Another set of gates opened, and the ground shook with heavy steps. Massive creatures lumbered in. Elephants, towering and immense, tusks gleaming like ivory blades. They carried armored howdahs strapped to their backs, where humans could ride as if upon mobile fortresses. The officer's voice carried with reverence. In ancient times, these creatures crushed armies underfoot. With them, empires rose and fell. Even now, they remain our allies. One elephant raised its trunk, trumpeting a sound so powerful it reverberated through Xhor'Tal's chest cavity. His second heart faltered. He clutched his chest, forcing it to steady. His vision blurred. He had seen enough. As the humans concluded the display, Xhor'Tal struggled to compose himself. His aides noticed his trembling hands, his ragged breathing. One whispered, "General, are you well?" Xhor'Tal snapped back a growl, forcing strength into his voice. "I am fine," but he was not. His body betrayed him, his twin hearts racing dangerously fast. The humans smiled politely, as if oblivious to the storm inside him. "We hope this demonstration proves something of our history, General. Humanity has always lived beside predators, not in fear, but in partnership." Xhor'Tal turned away, jaw clenched tight, hiding the truth from both his aides and his hosts. Inside, terror bloomed. If this was only history, then what awaited him in the next chamber? The true pets revealed. The corridors grew darker as the humans led General Xhor'Tal and his entourage deeper into the facility. His claws scraped lightly against the rail as he steadied himself. Each new chamber had been worse than the last. Lions that purred under a handler's touch, wolves that fought like soldiers, elephants that bore men as living war machines. Xhor'Tal's twin hearts thudded uncomfortably in his chest. He had expected primitive armies, not nightmare beasts turned into allies. And still the humans spoke as though he had seen only a glimpse. At last, the doors opened into a vast aquatic dome. The air grew humid, heavy with salt and brine. A colossal tank stretched out before them, its waters shimmering under artificial lights. Xhor'Tal stiffened as shadows moved within. Massive shapes glided beneath the surface, sleek, powerful, alien to his eyes. "This is our ocean division," the human guide announced. "Our companions of the seas." A whistle pierced the air. From the depths rose sleek gray predators, their fins slicing through the water. They leapt in unison, crashing back with thunderous splashes. "Dolphins," the humans said proudly. "They have lived beside us for millennia. Intelligent, cooperative, capable of understanding hundreds of commands." Xhor'Tal's jaw clenched. He could see it in their eyes, an unsettling awareness. These were not mindless animals. There was something more. The humans dove into the tank without hesitation, swimming among the dolphins. The predators circled protectively, guiding them upward whenever they sank too deep, responding to gestures with uncanny precision. Xhor'Tal felt the edges of panic. They swim with predators without fear. And then came the true terror. A deeper shadow stirred. A colossal shape, black and white, cut through the water like a blade. It breached the surface, towering above the humans before crashing down in a spray of foam. This, the human guide continued, is an orca. Some call them killer whales. Apex predators of the sea. Xhor'Tal staggered back. Apex? The word burned in his ears. The creature dwarfed even the elephants, its jaws easily capable of swallowing a human whole. Yet the humans swam beside it, as though it were kin. The orca nuzzled them, carried them on its back, obeyed every command without hesitation. The general's vision blurred for a heartbeat. His chest tightened. His second heart stuttered before finding its rhythm again. Not only land, but sea as well. They tamed the oceans. But the humans were not finished. Of course, said the guide with maddening calm. Not all our companions are friendly at first. They moved to another chamber. Behind reinforced glass, scaled monsters lurked in shallow pools. Alligators, crocodiles, beasts with jaws like serrated traps. Their eyes gleamed with cold calculation. Xhor'Tal's stomach twisted. He had seen creatures like these only in nightmares, and his species exterminated them wherever they appeared. Yet here, humans approached the reptiles with food, stroking their armored hides, even guiding them with poles and hand signals. These are reptiles, the guide explained, difficult to tame, yet with patience, even they recognize us as allies. One human knelt dangerously close to the water's edge. A crocodile the size of a ground vehicle slid forward, opening its massive jaws, only to close them gently around the handler's arm without harm. It released him, waiting expectantly for its reward. Xhor'Tal nearly collapsed. His aides glanced at him in alarm, but he forced himself upright, claws digging into the railing until sparks flew. This is beyond war. This is blasphemy against nature itself. The humans, perhaps sensing his unraveling composure, guided him to a viewing chamber. Lights dimmed, and ancient footage appeared on screens overhead. He watched in silence. Armies of horsemen thundered across plains, cavalry charges breaking empires. War elephants crushing legions beneath their feet. Falcons swooping from the skies with prey in their talons. Packs of dogs charging into battle beside their masters. Wolves leading hunts that fed tribes through harsh winters. Scene after scene unfolded, thousands of years of history. Humanity had not simply survived among predators. They had thrived with them, grown stronger because of them. Xhor'Tal's claws trembled. His twin hearts hammered, threatening to tear themselves apart. This, the human guide said quietly, is who we are. We have never walked alone. Xhor'Tal staggered, his chest heaving. He could no longer deny it. The Dominion had made a mistake. They had assumed humanity was fragile, prey-like, unworthy of fear. But this species had forged alliances with monsters. Predators that should have torn them apart, now bent to their will. No, not their will. Something more frightening. Their trust. The general swayed on his feet. His aides reached for him as his knees buckled. A sharp pain tore through his chest. One of his hearts seizing under the weight of realization. He gasped, forcing air through clenched jaws. Enough. I have seen enough. But the humans only exchanged calm glances. One of them spoke with infuriating composure. General, you haven't yet seen our true pets. The words froze him colder than the void of space. If lions, wolves, elephants, whales, and reptiles were not their true pets, then what horrors still lay ahead? Xhor'Tal's vision darkened at the edges. His breath came ragged, shallow. The next chamber awaited, and deep within, a part of him knew his hearts might not survive it. The pets of tomorrow. General Xhor'Tal's claws scraped the wall as the humans led him down yet another corridor. His chest still ached from the strain of the last chamber. Each step felt heavier, his twin hearts thudding unevenly, as though warning him to turn back. But there was no turning back. The humans walked ahead with calm confidence, their expressions unreadable. Their restraint terrified him more than their beasts. If this was not the height of their display, then what could possibly follow? At the end of the passage, a door twice the size of the previous ones loomed, sealed with layers of security. Guards scanned their palms. Codes were entered, and only then did the blast doors hiss open. A sterile chill washed out, smelling faintly of metal and ozone. "This," the guide announced, "is our future." The chamber was vast, lined with reinforced glass enclosures. Inside, shapes moved in the shadows, shapes too strange, too wrong to be natural. The first step forward. It was a wolf, but not as Xhor'Tal had seen before. Larger, sleeker, its muscles enhanced with metallic implants running along its spine. Its eyes glowed faintly, a fusion of flesh and machine. When a human handler snapped a command, the beast leapt onto an obstacle course, moving faster than Xhor'Tal's eyes could track, tearing through reinforced targets with ease. Cybernetic augmentation, the human explained, a way to enhance the loyalty and ability of our companions. They remain what they are, our friends, but with the gifts of technology. Xhor'Tal's throat dried. His people struggled to keep their own war beasts from turning on them. And yet humanity had fused predator and machine into a perfect soldier. The next enclosure revealed something even worse. Inside, a raptor-like creature, scaled, clawed, its head crowned with serrated teeth, stalked the perimeter. Its movements were predatory, ancient, primal. Xhor'Tal's eyes widened. That should be extinct. The human smiled faintly. We brought it back. Brought it back? Xhor'Tal's voice cracked. Cloning. Genetic resurrection. A challenge, but not impossible. Our ancestors once feared these beasts. Now, they're our allies. The raptor hissed, but when its handler entered, it bowed its head and lowered its body, allowing the human to place a hand on its snout. The handler whispered softly, and the creature stilled, obedient as any dog. Xhor'Tal's knees nearly buckled. The humans had not only tamed the present, they had tamed the past. But the final enclosure was worse still. Behind glass reinforced with shimmering energy fields lay a creature unlike any Xhor'Tal had ever seen. It was massive, a fusion of reptile and mammal, its body armored with both natural scales and synthetic plating. Its jaws glimmered with metallic implants, its eyes intelligent, almost calculating. "This," the guide said quietly, "is our prototype, a synthesis of Earth's predators, engineered for loyalty, strength, and endurance. It was not born of nature alone, but of partnership between us and the animals we cherish." The beast rose to its feet, towering over the humans. Xhor'Tal's instincts screamed at him to run, to flee the abomination before him. Yet the humans approached without fear. One raised a hand. The monster lowered its colossal head, pressing gently against the human's palm. Xhor'Tal's twin hearts lurched violently. His vision swam. "This is heresy," he gasped. "This is blasphemy." The human's voice was calm, unwavering. "No, General, this is trust. These creatures are not our slaves. They are our partners. And if you intend to conquer humanity, you will face all of us." Xhor'Tal staggered back, clutching his chest. The pain was unbearable now, sharp and searing. His aides rushed to steady him, but he shoved them away, refusing to show weakness before the humans. Yet his body betrayed him. One of his hearts locked in spasm, the other pounding desperately to keep him alive. Spots of darkness clouded his vision. "You would unleash these abominations upon the galaxy?" he wheezed. The human tilted his head. "No, we would unleash them only if forced. But you must understand, General, if you come for us, you will not face humans alone. You will face every predator that has ever trusted us." The words struck harder than any plasma round. Xhor'Tal fell to his knees, gasping, his chest a storm of agony. His aides shrieked in their tongue, summoning medics. Through the haze of pain, Xhor'Tal's thoughts crystallized into one final truth. The Dominion had gravely underestimated humanity. They had not tamed death for domination. They had earned its companionship, and a species that could turn monsters into allies could never be enslaved. As the medics stabilized him, Xhor'Tal raised a trembling claw. "Withdraw," he rasped. "Withdraw the fleet. Now." His aides froze. "General, do as I command," he roared, the force of his failing heart lending fire to his voice. "We cannot conquer them. We cannot even comprehend them. Humanity is not prey. There is something far worse. He looked one last time at the humans, who stood silently, their pets, watching with steady, loyal eyes. Xhor'Tal's voice dropped to a whisper as his strength faded. If these are their pets, may the stars protect us from what they call enemies. And with that, the Supreme General of the Xhor'Tal Dominion collapsed, his heart quivering, his soul haunted by the creatures of Earth.